And good evening, everybody. It's about 6, so no, late afternoon, evening. I keep forgetting there's no real lens on this 360. Here is the crank. I have removed approximately 400 grams from this crankshaft, 400 grams. So now it weighs 26.7 kilos. I'm not sure if that is good or not. Let me know. But the main thing is the streamlining of the blunt leading edge, and a little bit of weight reduction will give a little bit of crisper throttle response, but you don't want too much of that either, because you need inertia. But that's still a reasonably heavy crankshaft, because I think a high performance Coyote crank, I think, is about 25 kilo, right? So what's it, a Voodoo, something like that? And so this is still a couple of kilos heavier. So, you know, but weight feels like a reduction, feels like horsepower, but it's not really horsepower. It's just throttle response and higher RPM capabilities, but not necessarily horsepower. I saw one site online said that what do you say, 1 pound removed, and this is about, what's 400 grams, I don't know, under 2 pounds. But it says, I think it said a pound remove can make anything from 50 to 75 more horsepower, and I'm like, that sounds really, really high figure. But I just want this to run smooth and crisp. Yeah, I don't think I'm gaining much horsepower by lightening it. But I'm not saying I'm done yet. I'm just saying I want to take it down to applied engineering and get them to have a look, see what I've done, and for them to say, oh no, you take a bit more off here, you can take more off there, you can do this, you can do that. And then if that's the case, I will do that. I'm playing around at the moment with the intake a little bit, checking the fuel rails. These are -8, so I can probably use these fuel rails, but I will need to get bigger input hoses. This here is -10, which is the fuel pressure regulator. It's about the size of a garden hose. I've also got a Mustang throttle body on there, which is by wire, right? So something by, what is it? Throttle by wire? Drive by wire. Drive by wire. That will mean that I will have to put, maybe I'll just stick the camera somewhere. That means I will have to put a drive-by-wire pedal. Now I'm wondering if the lights are shining on the lens. It's a new camera, so I'm learning, guys. I'll have to put a drive-by-wire pedal, accelerator pedal, in there, and I will have to learn how to wire those up and then hook that into the Haltech. I think that's a better setup than the cable, because apparently you can do a lot of different types of tuning with a drive-by-wire. and the aftermarket throttle body I had, right, the black one, you want to see it? Yeah, I'll get it, hang on. So this one here, I guess I could sell this one now if someone's interested. Make me an offer. It's basically the same size, if not a touch smaller than the Ford. There's not a lot in it anyway. They may be exactly the same, but I think it's maybe a touch smaller than the Ford throttle body. And my son had an intake manifold, new intake manifold and throttle body sitting here in my workshop. And then I thought, well, this is meant for a Coyote, so maybe it'll screw straight on. So I got the throttle body and I screwed it straight on. And then I asked him what his plan was with it. And his plan was only to use the intake manifold. The throttle body was a bonus, so I said, can I get it off you? And he says, yeah. He said, by all means, help yourself. So I've got a drive-by-wire throttle body, bonus. And but that just means I have to get either a Coyote Mustang, what's that, 2018, accelerator pedal. I'd like to get the plugs of the pedal and also of the throttle body, and then, or the Haltech also has one for about 180 bucks, an accelerator pedal. It's a little bit more if you want the pin-out plugs with it, but that's not bad considering that's about the same price as a Ford one. So probably in here or there, probably not a lot of difference in the two. So yeah, so many things going on in my head, guys, so many things all at the same time. I'm working on a crank, designing the intake and the fuel system. I've also got the transfer case on my mind. It is always on my mind. You're always on my mind. So about 2 weeks left before I go on holiday, and you won't miss me because I'll do the odd upload from abroad. Okay, so you know, I won't put you through a total withdrawal of my channel. So I was actually quite surprised a few weeks ago. I looked at my channel and I realized I'd been online for 10 years, and I look very different in the last 10 years. So yeah, so now I've got a Coyote throttle body on this build. I'll let you all this know just in case this thing works out so awesome that other people will copy me. And I doubt that will happen, but you just never know. People already want me to install, I haven't even put it in yet, and people already asking me if I will install these gearboxes in their WJs. And I said I haven't even finished the conversion yet. So, and that still brings up that interesting point that I found underneath. The next job will be that I will be stripping all the fruit off this block, and I'll be bolting this on, and then I'll try and position it here in this Jeep with that transmission, and see where I can put the engine, right? See where I can put it, and where the engine plate's got to go. A lot of them have an engine plate at the front and they have one at the back. Do they need one at the back, or is the transmission cross member enough? What's the reason that they have an engine plate at the front and the back? For the rigidity. Sorry, a bit of a tongue twister there for me. Yeah, rigidity. So, interesting. Let me know, do you know that if you put a motor plate at the front, do I also need one at the back of the engine? That would mean I would have to like weld some brackets at the beginning of the transmission tunnel, which is no problem. Also, I've been thinking the ABS, will that still be operating when I do a pin out on the ECU? If not, is it illegal to remove it and just have it normally connected without ABS? I would really like to know that. Let me turn this light off for a second. Yes, I would really like to know if removing the ABS from a vehicle is legal or illegal. Because I have a feeling it won't work. Now with a pin out, do we leave the pins we don't need connected in and this still turned on, or is this coming out? I have no idea, guys. None. You've probably seen the short. If you haven't, I say thank you very, very much for subscribing and watching. I got paid by Google this month and I purchased this to help me with the wiring, you know, so I can label it all. I can work out, you know, which plug is what, and I can label them so it's easier for me to connect it all back up later and see what colors they are and where they go. I really don't want this join in the middle, which just makes it so messy. I would rather have all the injectors and coils, well, the injectors on one line, the coils on one line, instead of this. Instead of that. Gee, they're filthy. There was one more thing I wanted to bring up to finish this clip. It was in my mind, but I have so many things in my head. Wow. Yeah, I think maybe that was it. The thank you for this. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. Thank you for watching and subscribing. It's much appreciated. Yeah, so I think it's been about 2 to 3 months since I had a payment last. How YouTube works is if they pay you once it goes over $100, but if 1 month is under $100, they wait till the next month until it's over $100. And it's been about 3 months, I think, since I've had a paycheck, so it'll be probably $120, something like that. But that was actually on just about a month's worth, because it was Black Friday and I got it half price roughly. So thanks to everyone who watched this month. So yeah, I think I've covered all the subjects that I wanted to today with you guys, and that way you guys can ask questions or help me with advice. There's been a lot of good advice so far on this project. Had a lot of people reach out and say, how about this or this, would this be a good idea? And some of them have been good, and I appreciate that. So I'll probably get, if I feel well enough, I'll do some tinkering. I'll probably take the engine mounts out, and I'll probably strip all the fruit off the engine, and if I'm up to it, I'll also connect the gearbox to that engine after I stripped most of it down. I will probably refresh that motor. It's a beautiful motor, man. With that big camshaft, I think it's over 400 horsepower myself, naturally aspirated. But yeah, I want to refresh that and possibly put it in the HO, because that's the overland. That's getting a little bit tired. Or just have it ready to go in the overland for when that engine does let go. It's done 250,000, so you know, which is great. It's awesome that it's done that. I think it's got a lot of life left in it yet though. Okay, well, I've talked about the crank, I've talked about the fuel system, I've talked about mounting the engine, I've said thank you for the tag machine. If there's anything else, I'll bring it up in the next clip. Again, thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe, please, if you can. Like I always say, it's free. And I appreciate your company, and I appreciate you listening, and also the feedback. I enjoy that. It makes doing this all worthwhile. So now I'm gonna goof off, have a coffee, have my medication, my painkillers, wash up, and relax for the evening. Internet's a bit slow in here, but I've already got a cable, but I've got to run it from the house to here, but I'll do that when we come back from holidays. So yeah, my son will probably stay here when we're not here. So, which will be, he may do some tinkering in here, but I don't know. It won't be uploaded to the channel or anything, so yeah, it's all cool. Batteries on chance. Okay, so yes, 400 grams was removed from the crank. Should I remove more or not? Let's go and talk to Applied. I'll probably do that next week. I won't bother them on the weekend. Bye bye.